And so here is where the yoga part comes in. The first thing we want to do is set an intention. So maybe back when I was quitting smoking, this would have been a good thing. I didn't learn all of this until I was a yoga therapist. I was still a yoga teacher when I quit smoking, but I later learned how this fit in. So, setting an intention, the Sanskrit word is sankalpa, and san means a connection with the highest truth, and kalpa means a vow. So, this is our affirmation that we are going to do or achieve something or maybe let go of something. That might be another thing that we want to do. And in my this particular example, quitting smoking, I knew in my heart of hearts it was terrible for me physically. I didn't like how it felt socially. My children were upset about it, and I wanted to live to see some potential grandchildren someday. So that was my highest truth, and that was my vow to myself that I was going to do something about it. So the tapas, that's your daily discipline. And at an early stage of yoga, that might just be laying in bed and intentionally taking 5 breaths in the morning before you get up for the day. Just taking that time, that's literally 60 seconds to take 5 deep breaths and just be in your body for a moment before you get up to greet the day. Or maybe it is pouring a cup of tea and sitting outside on your porch and watching the sunrise because that's something that makes you connected to nature or to yourself. Or you might decide you want to do a 10-minute yoga practice or a 5-minute meditation practice, or maybe call that therapist and start getting weekly therapy, or whatever it is that you know in your deep, authentic self that's what you want to move towards. And just taking that daily step, what we call in yoga is a dinacharya, a daily practice. And that might include more things. It might be self-care. It might be a bath every day, or it might be lighting a candle or saying a prayer. Or maybe it is a series of things. Maybe your discipline that you practice is in the morning, and maybe it's in the evening, or maybe some other time that works for you. This is not a one size fits all practice. This is all about getting to know you, and there's only one of you. Then that part is svadhyaya, beginning to practice self-study, seeing yourself with clarity, noticing what happens as a result of your daily discipline. So in my particular example with yoga, with quitting smoking, obviously I knew I wanted to quit smoking, and I knew that I felt better when I didn't do it. But another thing that's a part of self-study is, like I said, getting that therapy, being able to, like, for instance, if you had that attachment issue with your caregiver, where if you asked for help, nobody would come. So you develop this attachment that, or this belief that if you ask for help, nobody's going to come. So you better just do it all yourself and never ask for help. Well, as you grow up and you maybe get married or in a relationship, or maybe you have a really great job and you need some help, but you feel ashamed to ask for help. And perhaps that damages your relationship or makes you mess something up at your job. I mean, that does not serve us anymore. And doing the self-study or going to therapy, which are, the same thing really, is to not make you feel even more ashamed that you have this adaptation. It's so that you can see with clarity, this is why I always have a hard time asking for help. It's not a real belief. It is not a truth that it is bad to ask for help. It's actually good to ask for help, and I should be able to ask for help. And it is a sign of strength to admit when we don't know everything, because we all know none of us knows everything anyway. So just being able to go without any self-judgment, oh, This is where this comes from. And then beginning to change those patterns, those samskaras, those neuro pathways. Every time we notice, I need to ask for help, but I don't want to. And then we change that story to, it's okay to ask for help. And then going and asking for help, you begin to change that pattern slowly but surely, developing newer, healthy, more supportive patterns. And then the last part of the Kriyas of yoga, that yoga of action, that yoga of making a change in our life, is Ishvara Pranadhana. And it literally means surrender. And I had a really hard time with this because just the word surrender kind of sounds like giving up or, forget it, I'm just going to smoke anyway, or never mind, I'm just not going to do what I need to ask for help to do, or whatever the situation might be. It doesn't mean surrender like that. It means giving up the illusion of being in control. It means making the effort even though you don't know what the outcome might be. It means doing your best without any attachment to how things might end up in the long run. It means accepting reality for what it is instead of just being in denial or shoving things down. And it means accepting reality whether we like it or not, really. It might be like, oh, I'm not going to be happy at all until I get that car, and this is, I just need to have that car in order to be happy. Well, the reality is I actually have an old Prius and it's a good car and it gets me where I want to go, and it would be nice to have a new car, but if I don't have a new car anytime soon, that's still okay. I'm still going to be fine. Or the aversion piece of it that's like, oh, I can't stand that guy I work with. He is so rude and he's so mean and he's racist and I can't stand it. He's talks too close to me or whatever. But if you can get to a point where, well, this is where I work and this is the guy I work with and that's reality, and I just surrender to that rather than sitting there suffering and obsessing and ruminating about it all the time. I can just go, okay, this is what it is. I can't make reality change, but I can take that one daily step, take that tapas, and I can study myself to see who I really am, what I really want, and what is going to nurture me and honor me. Maybe eventually you will get to a place where you get that car or that guy leaves your office, just have to be in that place of acceptance and doing your best and letting go of whatever that outcome might be. Sometimes the outcome might not be great. Maybe my sankalpa might be to learn how to do a headstand. And so I take that daily step every day to do all the core exercises and the balance exercises and stuff like that. And then when I start to kick myself up, I can feel my neck getting like really compromised. And I go, okay, I'm going to give up on that because I can tell my body is not into it. And maybe that's what comes of the self-study. It doesn't necessarily mean achieving something. It might be letting go of something.